And then last week I was like, I've been seeing a lot of spiders around my house, and I've been thinking, hey, I can talk about spiders for a video, and I can rant about spiders. Well, not rant about spiders, but I can talk about spiders for 9 minutes in a video. So I decided to do it. Um, Contrary to what most people think, I like spiders. Well, not to what people think about me, but what I think about spiders. I like them. Why? They get rid of flies. Why is that good? I don't like flies. Yeah, flies. They're just, I don't know, because I have wallpaper where if I kill a fly on it, then it's just gonna be very obvious. But so I don't like killing flies, but I'll happily kill spiders. Yeah, that's a thing. I like spiders, but it gets to a point where if there's about like 5 in my room at once, then I'll just wipe out the entire population, and then they'll have to start again somehow. So that happened. It was about, I think it was about this time last year, as of recording, the 7th of April. It would have been around this time last year when the first lockdown in the UK. I was just sitting, I had a little tub of sour cream and onion Pringles. And it was summer, well, spring, but slash summer. So there was a lot of spiders. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a thing, and I'm gonna trap spiders in this tiny Pringles can, which I'd say if I put my hand sideways, that, well, if you put your hand sideways, it's probably about the height of that, unless you actually know what I'm talking about, in which, well, that's fine. But I decided to put it in there, and then just keep it, just see how long it would last. I did, like, because I had about, I think it was 12 of these little Pringles cans at once, and no, I didn't capture 12 spiders. That didn't happen. I'd catch flies, and then and then just kind of put the flies in the tub of the spider so the spider could eat them. And I also put little holes on the top. It was kind of like having a pet, but really scuffed. So yeah, I had a pet spider, and it lasted about a month before dying. Well, I had it for about a month and a week, but I think during that last week, I think it died because I just didn't, because there was no flies in my room, so I just didn't feed it anything, and I think that was the downfall of the spider, um, which is quite depressing because it was really, it wasn't fun having the spider as a pet, but it was interesting because I would just sit there and just look at it for about 5 minutes and be like, you know what, that's pretty cool, and then go back to doing whatever I was doing. And obviously my family, well, the household knew about it, so, and they were like, oh, the spider's not gonna last a week, and then it lasted a week. I was like, hey, idiots. And they'll say, oh yeah, it's not gonna last 2, and then lasted 2, and I'm like, hey, and then they're like, oh, it's not gonna last, and so on, until about the month, and they're like, wow, that spider's lasted a long time, where is it? And I was like, oh, it's in the bin, it died. Yeah, because it was in a Pringles can, I could just easily, if it died, I would just, it would have been sad, which it did, and it was, kind of, and then I was like, oh, it's dead, let's just put that in the bin, and just empty the bin, because it was bin day the next day, it was perfectly fine. But yeah, that happened. So yeah, had the pet spider for about a month, and then I kind of grew from I liked spiders beforehand, but I've grown to like them even more with the time of having the pet spider. So, well, I mean, it was just very interesting just seeing how a spider interacted with a sideways hand height, or like hand height. I'll probably find a picture and put it on screen at some point. But just seeing how it interacted in that environment, and pretty much it just made a web in it, as you would expect, and then it just kind of vibed just there, and then I'd put a fly in, and then it'd be like, fly time, and then it would eat it, which was interesting. I wonder if how long it would have lasted if I just didn't give it a fly, but I also think that's classed as animal torture, and I'm not about animal torture. So yeah, another thing, I'd say about a week ago now, or a couple of days ago, I can't remember. Time's all skew with in my head right now. But yeah, I was just sitting on the toilet watching YouTube, and then I look up, well, slightly above my phone, and there's just a spider there, and I'm like, oh, great. So I'm just sitting there, just looking at it, and I'm like, what do I do? Do I leave it? Do I kill it? I don't want to kill it, but I also don't just want to leave it. But I ended up leaving it, and then I just kind of, it walked away, and then towards the bath, but it kind of just stopped anything that it felt threatened by. So I was just kind of watching it, and then it would stand next to something, and I would just move it, and then the spider would keep going, and then it would stop again, and then I'd move the next thing, and then the spider would keep going, and then I'd move the next thing, and then it would do that. It was only about 4 things I had to move, and they were tiny. It was stupid. But then it came to a point where there was just like a lot of hairs somehow, or just, I think it was dust mainly. But the spider just like froze when it got to there, and well, it just froze. I'm like, well, I'm not moving all the dust, so you're gonna have to get through it. And then about 2 minutes later, I see it, and it's just stretching through through the dust, and I'm just looking like, well, I mean, it isn't my fault that there's all that dust there, but I mean, shouldn't have been in the bathroom, should you? But yeah, and I've also got a tendency now, whenever I see a spider, I'll leave it for a decent amount of time. But then I'll see like 3, and I'll be like, well, you've been here for about 2 weeks, you're gonna know. Obviously, I don't know which one it is. Like, there could be one in my room now that I haven't killed for about 4 months, and it's just roaming around somehow. I don't know, but yeah, that's not. It isn't fun because I don't particularly enjoy killing spiders, but I also don't just want to leave them there because I mean I don't want to say the exact amount of spiders I've killed because I wouldn't be able to count, but because I've got like the flycatcher thing, I'll see if I can pick it. Yeah, I've got this flycatcher, and it pretty much, it's just, you pull one end and it opens, it's like prongs at the top. Well, not prongs, but it's like just plastic things, stick things that come out and under them. And then when it's next to the spider, it's kind of like go and it just closes. And it's very interesting to do. Yeah. So I have that for catching spiders, which makes the whole thing a lot easier, so I'm not just like splatting them against my wall. So that's why, and also another reason why I like spiders more than flies. Because flies, yeah, you can get fly swatters, but the flies just end up dead on the ground, and if you can't find them, well, that's a big help. But the one thing about the spider catcher is that if it doesn't die, it just runs down the spider catcher on your own. That's terrifying. So, yeah, bye.